while she was forced to shut down.
That's not because of health reasons or science or even tax revenue. That has everything to do with the lobbying that these big corporations and big money interests are allowed to do. The lobbying is our biggest enemy in this country right now. They are able to sway our politicians to ensure that they do not work in our best interest.
So here
we are. We're in this collapsing of our economy. 100 years ago, I believe that over 80%, 90% of our economy was mom and pop shops. Small businesses made up 80 to 90% of our economy. And it has slowly dwindled year after year after year.
To where then it became 70%, then it was 60%. And
then right before the 2008 crash, it was just a little bit above 50%. It was like 55% of our economy was mom and pop shops.
After 2008, it dwindled. It was finally below half. It was about 45% of our economy was mom and pop shops, small businesses. And now I'm telling you, after this pandemic, it's going to be maybe 30%. 30% of our economy will be mom and pop shops after this.
So
they don't have lobbyists.
After 30 days, I could not believe my before and after picture. I literally rolled back the hands of...
They don't have somebody calling up Nancy Pelosi on their behalf. They don't have somebody calling Gavin Newsom or Andrew Cuomo or Gretchen Whitmer. They don't have anybody calling them on their behalf saying, "You remember when I donated to your campaign all those thousands of dollars? Remember when we did that?"
Well, that was because you were going to keep us afloat.
There's absolutely no reason why Hollywood
would be deemed an essential working class. That just goes to show the corruption that is in our political system. That's the corruption right there. That's all you need to know.
Hollywood actors are essential.
That is the biggest joke I've ever heard. And unfortunately, it's not a joke.
So, we're seeing the greatest wealth heist in the history of our nation.
Now we've got corporations running off like bandits. And by the way, in those meetings, those corporations that are making 52%, 52% of the corporations making more money than they did last year. You know what they're saying in their meetings? They're wondering, what can we do to ensure this level of profit stays? They don't want to go back to normal. 52% of the corporations have no desire to go back to normal. They want to keep it where it's at now, where they're making fistfuls of cash. So they're trying to figure out schemes for how they can continue to do that. You know how they do that? They keep their competition at home. They say, well, let's just not allow them to go out and work. Keep them shut down. And many of us buy it, right? We all buy it. We gobble it up because they told us a virus was coming for us. They told us that we were all going to die. And so we all said, okay, I guess we're going to have to stay inside. We're going to wear a mask. We're going to shelter in place. We don't want to see our loved ones. We're not going to be by the bedside of our parents when they pass away. We're going to not hold the hands. I'm sorry, but if you tell me I cannot hold the hand of my father when he's dying, you can go to hell. I'm barging in. That's not happening. It's not happening. And yet that is what's happened to hundreds of thousands of people, not just those who've died of COVID, but those who died of something else. They were not allowed to see their family members. Even on the basic level, even if you take away this whole, well, you're going to lose your life's work. That's bad. That's bad. That's not something to just skirt over, by the way. You're going to lose your life's work. That's bad. But it's even worse to tell somebody you can't be with your loved one when they're passing away. But this is what they've done to us. What they've done to us is they've said, you cannot. We demand it. But Hollywood exempt. The UK, what did they do? They just announced that high-value business people don't have to quarantine, right? Because high-value business folks, those who bring in millions of dollars to the country, oh, I see, they can't spread the virus. Oh, no, it's you dirty people. It's you dirty poor people. You're the ones who are spreading the virus, not the rich, you dirty poor people. Even though the rich are the ones who actually flew it into the country. How else did it get here? Certainly didn't come here because poor people who couldn't travel didn't go to China. But here's the thing. I noticed this trend. When Donald Trump ran for president, people were suffering. After the 2008 crash, it became really clear. It was really clear that these corporate elites who have bought off our government, that they ensure that nothing good comes to us, that it all trickles up to the top. Our tax dollars, our money, goes to them, and we have to just hope for some scraps to be thrown at us. That was clear after 2008. So what happened? There was a rising of people. They rose up. We rose up. All of us. We rose up and we said, we are not going to have this anymore. And Bernie Sanders became extremely popular and Donald Trump became extremely popular. Outsiders who were not with the establishment. That's what became popular. And Donald Trump said, the issue for you is not me, the rich guy. The rich guy who's gone bankrupt 3 times and who's needed bailouts from the government. No, it's not me, the rich guy who's just, schmoozing around eating caviar and dating young women. I'm not your problem. The problem is the Mexican who's on the other side of the border. We got to build a wall. That's your problem. It's the Mexican who wants to come into this country, the guy who's just trying to make a buck, the guy who's just trying to make a couple bucks. That's the guy who's your problem. He's your problem. The guy who's going to wash dishes in the back of the restaurant, the guy who's going to clean toilets, the guy who's going to swim across the Rio Grande, risk his life to make a few dollars, hardly any money, less than minimum wage. That's the guy who's your problem. That's the one you should fear. That's what he sold us in 2016. And in 2020, fast forward, what am I seeing? The same thing, except this time it's liberals saying your problem is Bob in Michigan who voted for Trump and doesn't want to wear a mask and he wants to keep his business open. He's unwilling to close his business because he wants to make a buck. Bob in Michigan, he's the problem. He's your enemy. He voted for Trump. He's a racist. That racist is your problem. That guy is your issue, not the banks who are running off with all your money and charging you a boatload for an education, for knowledge that's in thin air, that shouldn't cost you anything. Not them. They're not your problem. Not the people who've been jacking up the rates on everything, all the cost of living so that we can't have the American dream like our parents and our grandparents. Not that guy. That guy's not your problem. Not the rich guy who's running off with all the taxes, who's getting the bailouts and the tax incentives and the tax breaks to operate his multi-billion-dollar business. And meanwhile, you get less than $8 an hour in order to try to survive. That's not your problem. That guy's not your problem. No, the problem you have is Bob in Michigan, who's not wearing a mask, even though you are halfway across the country.
After 30 days, I could not believe my before and after.
Boy,
picture.
that's enough.
Literally,
I'm done with the commercials. I apologize for the commercials, people.
Roll
That's
back the
just
hands
what
of
it is. It is what it
never will
is.
meet Bob.
Bob
Bob's
in
your
Michigan.
problem.
Bob.
You see what
Jose
they've
and
done to
Bob.
us? You see how the establishment worked us? You see how what they did was they painted
Working
the
you
problem
over.
to be something that was something it wasn't.
They painted the problem to be something that it wasn't. Working you over like a cheap hooker. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to bring on some people who are helping assist avoid artificial problems. Today, I want to talk about artificial problems. We got real problems. People, you know why I'm late this morning? I'm late this morning and I'm mad as hell too, because we got real problems to solve. I have electrical problems in my house I'm working with, and I don't have time to do this nonsense. But we got these artificial bullshit, Bob in Michigan, Jose coming over the border problems. This woman was laying it down. Good morning, Lori. How are you doing, Miss Truth Telethon? Tell the truth so people can stop being a little childish and need to get beat by Aunt Ruth. Good morning.
Say that again, please.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Because ignorant people who don't have the truth go along with 0.01% and the ignorant, foolish, artificial problems they give us, and we got real problems on Earth. The next generation has real problems. Gerard didn't change the circuit breaker, and now he's got to play electrician today. Lori, I don't have time for this.
I hear you.
Good morning. Introduce yourself, sister. How you doing this? I might
It's my first time being with you.
Huh?
It's our first time together.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not. No,
It is. I don't think I've ever been on your show. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. You're just using me.
Technically, this is not a show. All right, this is not a show. This is a place I come with a few of my favorite friends on the planet to abuse me and watch me trip over myself, try to figure things out and save the planet. That's not a show. It's like Coliseum abuse. Did you hear what this woman said? Did you know that Hollywood is essential workers?
It's unbelievable. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I can, because it's the Coliseum. Are you not entertained? The only thing you gotta do is keep people ignorant in their house so they don't watch things like the Truth or Telethon, where they can actually understand the truth of what actually is going on, which is why I'm about to eat a donut right now, because people need to understand what is. A sugar donut too. I'm sick of it.
Do it right now. Huh? We want to watch you live. We want to see you bite into it.
You want to see me bite? I'm gonna bite the donut. And you know what? Here's the deal. Here's the deal, though. Here's the deal. I'm gonna be ignorant as hell, and I'm gonna eat a sugar donut. And if I die of clotting from the flu this year and the clotting from the donut today, that's my problem. That is my problem. You do not, Lori, need to wear a mask or be on lockdown for my damn problems. If I'm stupid enough to take this, oh, good Lord, this looks delicious. Look at the, oh my God, look at that cuckoo virus. It's just cuckoo virus all over, and it's gonna clot all that.
But it tastes so good. You have to admit.
It does. I can feel my arteries. I can feel the clotting in my arteries right now. And everybody need to put on a mask and be on lockdown so I can keep eating my damn donut.
I love it.
And people who know the truth, they know exactly what I'm talking about. The number one comorbidity is ignorance and bad cardiologists. How much that?
What do you think of the medical profession right now? It's kind of hard to. Do we have a medical system? Do we have one?
We never had a medical system.
We never did.
All we had was for-profit Rockefeller medicine, disease management. Medicine had nothing to do with it. It was disease management. And the good thing about that, though, is it was based on what no, that's not Michelle. Michelle Malkin is the other one. This is Kim Iverson, what she just said, right? Blame Jose across the border or blame Bob in Michigan. They're the source of all my problems. The blame game. Adults playing the blame game instead of growing the hell up and putting the damn donut down. So that's what Rockefeller medicine is based in. It's based in you blaming something else for your damn diet. Every problem in this country, from disease, the vast majority of chronic illness is all malnutrition. And doctors have said that. We have doctors. We do not have a medical system. We have a for-profit disease management system. Good morning, Jesse, from the Truth to Thigh. Tell the truth so you can get your beat down because you can stop eating your donuts from Aunt Ruth. That's the name of this broadcast.
No, you're making me want to go out and get a donut as soon as we finish this. Thanks a lot.
But new rule, the only rule is if you're going to put a sugar donut in your mouth that's going to kill you at flu season, you can't make other people pay the price for your ignorance. You cannot make other people wear a mask, lose their businesses, the greatest transference of wealth since the Great Depression, because you want to eat damn donuts in the morning. And you don't understand that the clotting and the comorbidities with this thing are in sync with cardiovascular disease.
How do you fall for this essential, non-essential thing? I mean, how did someone at Home Depot become, well, I would even say Home Depot, give them a little bit that there might be a little essential, building supplies, things that help us survive. But how did people at 7-Eleven become essential workers?
I know. You want me to answer? Or you want Jesse to answer?
What do you think, Jesse? Because you're not essential.
This whole essential, non-essential, it's, big business against the little guy. That's the war that's going on, and they want everything run by corporations.
It already is. It's here.
Well, they want the little guy out because, as long as there's people with their own businesses, they can't control people that have their own businesses. So if everybody's under one system, under one, corporatocracy of, where everybody's ruled by these, small group of people, then, that's where they can control the masses.
Well, they did an excellent job because everyone just lockstep, didn't they? Just close their businesses and just lock.
I'm gonna give people a little bit of leeway and say initially, let's just make sure that the people that's always lying are always lying. Not with shutdowns en masse, but with, let's be a little careful. Maybe something is coming here from China.
I agree.
But a few days after that, we realized it was all bullshit. So what is essential right now? What is essential is the 0.01%, all their corporations, and the lobbying that they do to make sure that the essential, Walmart, Target, McDonald's, all the big disease management corporations that make them even more profit from people being even more sick. And why is Hollywood? Well, because that's the bread and circus. So the bread and circus make people happy to stay at home. Just lock down, blame Bob in Michigan. He's running around without a mask. We locked down. First time it didn't work. We need to lock down again. The blame game, being a big child, walking around in a big face diaper, which is why I call them face diapers. And so why is Home Depot essential? Well, because it gives people something to do. That's more bread and circus. If you're working around the house, you're happy to be on lockdown. You're happy to stay at home. Half the people in the place I work don't want to come back to work because they're getting more money on welfare or whatever than what they do on their slavery job. So it's the perfect storm. Essential workers are basically people who have jobs that make the greatest transference of wealth in human history sustainable.
They did a magnificent job. I think the brainwashing. We have a few of the guests on the show, the speakers that are brilliant experts in discussing, mind control, propaganda, hypnosis of the population. It really is. It's brilliant. It's really quite brilliant.
I need to hear, and so how all this circles back, which is why this was perfect that we can talk about, the truthful things allow people to actually do things to save lives, and an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure type stuff. So I really appreciate what you guys did the first time around. I don't think I've had either one of you on my abuse thing that you call a show. But I appreciate y'all coming on to watch my friends abuse me. So if y'all don't know Lori and Jesse, they're from the Truther Telethon. I actually was a guest.
Telethon, truth.
Did I said it wrong?
You put an ER in the end. It's the Truth Telethon. That's okay.
It's a caffeine issue. It happens every morning. I make up stuff, new words and stuff like that. Add ERs and S's. So now you guys have a website. You got a Facebook page. Tell us about the Truth or Telethon the first time around. If people haven't watched it, they can watch it. All of the amazing people came together to tell the truth. It was beautiful. Y'all didn't go to prison, so I'm real happy with that too. And we're doing it again this weekend. Tell us about the Truth Telethon.
Jesse, do you want to do the honors?
Yeah. So
partner.
Basically, we have Miss Lori came to me, 13 days before, the first Truth Telethon, and she said, it's done. And this is something that we had talked about, and I said I would help her if she needed through. And then all of a sudden, because of whatever happened, they were going to stop. And I said, no. I said, we'll do it. We'll put it on. And I said, me and you, I said, if I have to go on there for the whole entire time because we couldn't get anybody to come on there, I said, let's just do it. We'll figure it out. And then, all of a sudden, the Mr. Alan Newell came into our world, and he said he would do all the vaccines for us and help us, get it happening. And then we had over 30, beautiful speakers from around the world come together and, talk in a 2-day event, and, just talking their opinions on what's going on in the world, because everybody's got their own opinion and everybody's got their own interpretation, because we've all grown up in different, places. We've all learned different things. So we all have a different understanding of what's going on. And the beautiful part is when you can get a collaboration of minds of people who are out there every single day, or, out here on, putting themselves out on live to be able to talk about what they feel is going on, and putting them all together in one, area, which became the Truth Telethon #1. And you got to speak there, Mr. Gerard, and you know, you were on your travel trip as you got to talk, and it was great. You're a brilliant man, and you know, we really appreciate that you came on to the first one, and then now you're going to be speaking on the second Truth Telethon, which is tomorrow. So
it is. Hang on, I have to interrupt you 1 second, Jesse. Can you put your mask on real quick? I'm about to put some sweet cream. I'm about to put my Cold Stone Creamer sweet cream. And look, the ingredients, it says sugar, 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 more sugar, cuckoo virus sugar, gonna die of cardiovascular disease, sugar, sugar, and more sugar. Right here. Can you put your mask on to protect yourself? I'm thirsty.
Well,
you have to go to work for General Mills or something in advertising. You're great.
So
you have to go to work for General Mills or Kellogg's or Procter and Gamble and sell. You're awesome at selling nasty products. You're good at it.
You're telling me we need a lawsuit. We need to sue all of these corporations. And this is what I love about what you're doing, Jesse and Lori, is that you're bringing together different voices. And let me tell you this, I disagree with a bunch of them, but it doesn't matter. The beautiful thing is that it is a web of all these different people who want to tell the truth of how they see things, their perspective from their place in this slavery planet. And every voice I heard was in opposition to the 0.01% in what they're doing to abuse the population, to create this new digital, new normal police state for the world. And that's a beautiful thing. See, we don't have to agree on, like Brother Tony just mentioned, the reclaim your birth certificate, right? Become a private citizen again instead of a commodity, right? And so we don't have to agree on that, but we do agree. And what we do, but you don't have to agree with them. But what we have in common, the things that unite us, are we're all being abused by the same exact people, and our kids are going to be abused by these people's children if we're not careful. We got real problems to solve. We don't need any more artificial 0.01% problems. And so that's the beautiful thing about what you're doing, is I think the people who are really paying attention, they're pulling out the things that they have in common. And those are things that we all need to rally on. But then they're also learning a different perspective and hopefully shifting their positions on some things.
Gerard, I have to interject because I'm seeing a lot of comments here that are questioning our intentions and the fact that Jesse and I are selling detox products on the show. And I want to nip this in the bud now because I'm seeing a lot of very negative comments.
Whoa. No. See, you can't do that. You know why?
I just want to say, I just think it's very important that I'm fine. I feel very comfortable with what we're doing.
No, Lori. I know, because I know you want to get in there.
I'm sorry.
Listen to what I'm saying for a second. If you say it, then it's just going back and forth with whoever's saying it.
Forgive me. I bought into the moment. You're right.
Let me see if I can address it, because I don't make any money from the Truth Telethon. Sure. I was literally driving, picking my son up from college, had somewhere to go. And the first time they get no money from detox products or this, that, or the other, blah, 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 advertising nothing. And this morning, I'm doing this right now for you guys because I think you guys are awesome and you're doing the right thing. I need to be working on my electric. It's dark in here. I look like I need to be way out on the slave plantation. Dark as hell. I've been eating chicken. So I'm not making no money. So this is what I'm going to explain to people.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
What we are doing is we are fighting a 0.01% that got all the damn money in the world, and they literally print it. They're enslaving everybody. People need to eat while they do this. They need to be able to buy food. They need to be able to pay their rent. They need to be able to put together websites, pay for Wi-Fi, software. And I don't know who posted the comment. I love you to death. I'm not yelling at you. I'm trying to explain something to your ignorant comment. You have to make defiance sustainable from the same perspective of, like I talk about distractions. I get to get in my alien stuff and I love to do that. But that's what makes this sustainable for me. If I can't back out and laugh and watch some sci-fi, the fight isn't going to be sustainable. You can't go through abuse if you're not laughing. You have to make these struggles sustainable because they might last for weeks, months, years or decades. And so I don't know what you're doing with detox products. I don't know what you're doing with advertising. I don't give two damns. What I care about is your fight becomes a sustainable base within this struggle we have for the human race and freedom and getting truth out there. So whatever you got to sell, whether it's t-shirts, hats, damn pantyhose with Trump's name on it, or Obama's name, Biden's name, Fauci, I don't really care about that. What we need is we need people to be in this fight every day, because everybody can't fight this fight. Some people have to go to slavery. Some people got 3, 4, 5 jobs to do. So I love you to death, whoever said that. Thank God I didn't see the comment. Hopefully I addressed it so Lori doesn't have to address it. You have to be able to be to live in slavery planet and pay for the things. I do this stuff on laptops. I got a Patreon. You know, I didn't want to have a Patreon. I'm gonna tell you a real story. I'm gonna tell you, because you know what? I'm gonna get on it for a second. Real story. I didn't want to make a Patreon. I didn't want to. I hate it when people say that. I hate watching videos. Oh, send me money, send me money, send me money. I'm like, everybody's broke for the most part, you know, like, you know, but I'm never going to do that. And finally, a good friend of mine, I won't put her on blast, but she is a big name in Hollywood and everybody knows who she is, but she's a good friend of mine. And you know, we went on a trip to look at some land in another country. And on the way back, she said, you have to either create a Patreon, you have to sell something, you need to put together a website, because if you don't make your fight sustainable, you're going to get pushed out of the fight.
That's true.
You know, if you don't know, if you're not, you can't just be smart enough to fight. You need to know how to fight sustainably. You need to have a strategic plan to make the fight get bigger and bigger and reach more people. And it's never going to happen without money. Martin Luther King said this. He said that you either, if you're going to take on the 1%, if you're going to take on the real power in this world, you either got to have the numbers or you got to have the money.
That's right. That's right.
We don't have the money. Lori, you don't have the money. Jesse, you don't have the money. You can only get the people, and you'll never get the people unless you have some money. So whatever you got to sell, sell it. Post the link. I really appreciate you guys doing this. Hopefully I addressed it so we don't really have to even talk about it anymore. But the thing is, you got to support people doing this stuff. Otherwise, they won't do it.
That's exactly right. And you know, this is a labor of love. I mean, Jesse and I are very, since I did the first one and bringing it now, between the first and the second, we have 50 speakers in 2 months that we brought together. And I've talked to many of the speakers. Now I'm doing lives, and Jesse is too. And I tell you, Gerard, like, I could tear up just how brilliant and beautiful and amazing the people are that we have brought together. And when we did the first one, I think Jesse and I both, like, were in awe of what a beautiful day it was, and listening to everyone talk about their whatever they were experts in was so heartwarming, and everyone felt like a real togetherness and a unity. And it's not so much about waking people up on the outside, which is great, but I almost feel like me personally, there are millions and millions of people like us around the world that we're trying to bring together. You know, it's great if we can wake people up, but let's unite the people that see the world the way we do, because then we could tip the scales in numbers. And that's the only way I see it. And so now we have Hannah Marie coming on from Spain. She's joining us for the first time. She's a huge activist in Spain. And we have Thanos Canales in Australia fighting the fight every single day. We have John Paul Rice, who did created a movie about child trafficking, pedophilia. When you hear him speak, I guarantee everyone will be crying at his words and his wisdom. And so this is what we're about. And I want to do more. It's a lot of work. It's a lot, right, Jesse? But I feel very heartwarmed doing it. And
it's the right thing to do, and I appreciate you doing it. And so, you know, and I know both of you guys have done some activism in your past. The other thing I'll tell you is that activists are passionate people. We are all some passionate people. By nature, we're not supposed to get along. By nature, you're not dealing with people who don't give two damns. And passionate people, when they start to see you're succeeding at what they've been struggling at, like you guys just kind of started it. You're introducing to people in Italy, the UK, people I've never known, right? On the other side of the planet, and they're saying the same perspectives as people here, right? And that's huge.
Yeah.
And you blew up quick. You did the right thing at the right time in the right way. You busted your tail. You guys sat there for 2 days and just had interview after interview after interview. And so what I'm saying is that, and that's all the week's preparation you put in. But it was
behind the scenes too. This is an event.
It blew up, and so you are going to draw hate. And that's just how that goes, right? You're going to draw some, and you're even going to draw some hate from good people, and that unfortunately is where this is at. You know, when I got started with this, it was children's rights, right? And those are the most passionate people you'd ever want to come across. And so, but if a mom is struggling who lost her children to get something going, and she started a website, she tried to bring people together, it never worked out, and all of a sudden she sees you do it. That whole blame Jose thing kicks in, right? That whole blame Bob in Michigan thing kicks in, right? Like the 1%, and this is why I appreciate Kim Iverson too. If y'all don't subscribe to her channel, you need to. She drops major truth bombs. She should have millions of people watching her. But it was the whole point. Like on one side, oh, blame Jose for running over the border. He's the source of your problems. And people fall in. On the other side, blame Bob in Michigan because he's not wearing his mask and that's why you're on lockdown. And people hate being on lockdown and they want an easy source and outlet and thing to blame. And so what I'm saying is when you guys did this and it blows up, you're going to see people who were your friends not remain your friends. You're going to draw a lot of hate, but that comes along with this. You know, when you're dealing with real people with real passion who's gone through real problems, they lost real businesses. Bob in Michigan is easy to blame. They lost their farm or they lost their job because of an immigrant. So Jose coming from Mexico is easy to blame. And we fall in. They use psychology against us and expect people to do that. All you can do is you brush it off. To me, it's like an argument with someone. I get in these arguments with my family stuff. They're not really arguments. They're just disagreements. And I'm not disagreeing with my brother, right? I'm not even having a conversation with my brother. My brother was my brother at birth, right? Ever since then, he's become an indoctrinated being like I in these slave colonies we call societies where they limit the truthful information that is allowed to you in your job, with your education, with your degree, or the people who are around you or the news that you watch. So you're not actually fighting with someone who is against the truth telethon. You're fighting with someone's indoctrination as to what they feel is true or not true.
Right.
And we have, here that we came together with this truth telethon, and the very first one and now the very second one between me, Lori, and Alan. We've already put hundreds of hours into putting these two telethons on. We haven't made a dime on any of it. It's never been about making money. It's about the truth, about bringing people from all different perspectives together, to help people. And like you said, people from Australia, people from Spain, to see what their perspectives are. So, now we have a product, which is a detox product, which, someone who's helped us put it on has introduced us to this product, which is actually helping people to detox from all the toxins, all the toxicity, all the metals. So we're introducing this product to people, and we're going to be giving a lot of giveaways. We're not doing anything behind. We're being upfront about everything. There is nothing. There was nothing part of the first one, because the very first telethon we put on had nothing to do with any product or anything. It was just about putting this together. But as you said, Mr. Gerard, we need to be sustainable in our fight against tyranny. And in order to get, to be sustainable, having a supplemental income by helping people detox their body is something I'm behind, and I'm 100% behind it now. And because, it's not about, the Truth Telethon is not about the product, but if we've got an audience and we've got a lot of people coming together and we can share an amazing product that helps people detox, that's something I'm 100% for, and it's up front. There's nothing nefarious going on. This is who we are. We're giving away products. We're going to be, we're sharing. We're going to have a few little clips. We're talking about detox. And the hardest community for people to get behind is the truther community. If the truther community are very skeptical, if everybody in the truther community would actually get behind each other and support each other instead of trying to, be the one in the spotlight, we'd have a lot more success in our fight, because everybody's kind of feel like they're in their own little world. And if everybody came together, then we are strong in numbers.
Oh, I got to jump in there.
Bad partner.
So let me say I disagree, though. I disagree. And that is because you are 100% behind making money to make a sustainable fight. You need to be 102% behind it, maybe 110% behind it. You need to blast ignorant people in the face with their own ignorance. So it's okay to be ignorant. It's okay to be passionate. You need to make money on this. You need to pay for this. We need the both of you to be doing this on a regular basis as much as possible. Make your money. Don't worry about the haters. Now I'm gonna disagree one other thing. The truthers coming together, they ain't never gonna happen. Just hang that up. Just go ahead and take that hat off and hang it up. We're never gonna come together. You know why? Because the word truth. Right? The idea that I know the truth is just a narcissistic, sociopathic Gerard, born in Maryland, lives in Pennsylvania, ignorant piece of ignorance. I don't know the truth, right? I don't know the truth. I know from my perception what seems to be correct, and I want to tell other people. And so anybody who's, and I hate the word truth, but for the lack of a better word,
really annoying already. But yeah.
When you think you're correct and you think that you're telling the truth, then you're willing to go to extensive lengths to get other people to see it as well. And so I wouldn't expect the truthers to come together in a way that violates the things that they hold to be true because they read the law, or they're on a Democrat side or Republican side or whatever, or leaning in those directions. All we need to do is for people to shut the hell up and let somebody else talk. That's all we need. All we need is for Gerard, shut up. You disagree with somebody else on this, and this, but we do agree that the 0.01% cannot, the 0.01% oligarchs who created the old unsustainable normal that is crashed today so they can make a new psychopathic digital normal cannot do this. All we got to agree on is we need to be free. We need to agree on that. And as long as we agree on that, I'd let the truthers argue, fuss, fight, throw some eggs at each other, coffee, whatever. Don't worry about that. Another thing I'm gonna say, then I'm shut up. Yeah. So the only people who are jealous of your success are the people who haven't had success, right? There's nothing to profit from becoming popular, defying a 0.01%, trying to get other people to see the truth and detox their systems. What you get from that is called death. That's how you know that you won the truther game. That's how you know that you finally got that fame and you're effective. Whenever you actually expose enough of the truth to enough people, they will send you to meet JFK. They will send you to meet Martin Luther King. There's no good thing that comes from like, oh, you're doing it to make money. No, you're not. I've had people open my door. I've had people unlock my door. I've had the little black truck sit outside and the black cars. Y'all remember Debbie? If y'all remember Debbie Lusignan, there's a reason why she's not around here anymore. And they got pages for her. They post videos and stuff like that. And people send me stuff and say, oh, well, tell Debbie to come back. That I would never tell Debbie to come back. They were after that woman like you would have. There are things she told me.
That's right. That's right.
There are things that she told me she got too big, too quick. They were after her. She would press a button and you'd have 1,000 people watching her live. There's no way in hell I would ever tell Debbie to come back and do this. So here, and this is my point. So nobody does this to make money, people. Nobody does this to make money. There is no money in defying a 1%. The only thing you can make out of this is a funeral if you succeed. So we need to put that ignorance away.
Well, you know, knowing whether there'll be a third or more, or we would love, I'm so passionate about it because I see how beautiful it is and all these people are. Everyone that's speaking, none of us fight amongst each other. It's just it's just one beautiful conversation after another. And when that day hit and when tomorrow hits, it's just the feeling of unity and togetherness. We try to make it fun and joyful. So, you know, it's also about being fun, and people like us that enjoy, you know, that have been in the truth movement for so long. We love watching this stuff, right, Jesse? I mean, this is our entertainment. So it is, I mean, you know, a 12-hour marathon. I think with all the speakers that we have, I think it's just going to be one great moment after another. And I have absolutely, I know where my heart is. I know what we had to do, what Alan Newell has done for us. This is no small task. It really is a lot of work, but it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. That we know. Right, Jesse?
Definitely worth the time that we put into it. And this, again, like I've said before, and I'll continue to say, this is not about making money. This is about getting the truth out there for people. If we can, you know, make a supplemental income because we're helping people. I've been on the detox ever since I got vaccine damaged about 10 years ago. I've been learning about health and nutrition and wellness. I stopped drinking alcohol. I stopped synthetic drugs. I stopped smoking cigarettes. I stopped eating meat. I've been, you know, doing lots of research on what's been happening to our soil and the lack of nutrition. So even if you're on a plant-based diet, because of the lack of nutrients in the soil, because of over farming and because of all the pesticide, you know, use, all of the fracking, all of the things, the poisons in the air, all the different things, it's harder and harder and harder to get nutrients into the body. And even the food, you're eating organic food, unless it's, you know, truly organic soil, then, you know, it's really nutrient deficient. And unless they're rotating the crops where they're not over farming the areas, then you're getting nutrient deficient stuff. So we need to do things like detox, which this works perfectly in who I am and the messages that I'm putting out there, because, you know, there's so much heavy metals in our body that we need to detox that stuff out. You know, there's so many things that we have to supplement our food with because it's lacking in the food that we're buying from our grocery stores. So this stuff works very well. And I'm really proud of the team that we put together. I'm really proud of Miss Lori and all the hard work that she's been doing to put into this. And we will continue putting on these truth telethons, you know, for the truth, because we need to bring people together. That's the whole purpose of why we're here, is to bring people together so we can be many, we can be strong, and we can finally, you know, stop these, you know, oligarchs, or stop these, you know, this tyrannical system from, you know, looking to steal everybody's soul.
You know, and I just want to add to that it's funny what people say along the way, that, oh, they're just in it for views. I'm like, yeah, we're in it for views. Like, are you kidding? It's like, yeah, like, isn't that the whole point? That we can, how are we going to fight if we don't tip the scales in numbers? I mean, that is the most basic point of everything that we're doing. I mean, that is, yes, we're in it for views. Are you kidding me?
Don't, you know, and the other thing is, don't have any worries about people who are saying the things that you expect, you know, somebody in the CIA or the FBI or NSA to say. And it's not thing on them. A lot of great people work for these corporations, departments of a corporation. If you're saying things that are anti to somebody whose side that you're on, if you're in the 99% and you're saying things what the 1% would say, you're a fool. And two, you guys can't worry about people like that. A lot of these people aren't real people. A lot of these people are just software. A lot of these people are AI. They're hired help. They're hired mobs. So
yeah,
you can't worry about it.
I don't. I'm just saying these things because because we just keep doing what we have to do. I'm doing it. It doesn't. I'm just saying these things that yes, we are in it for views because we want as many people. We can't win this fight if we don't start getting big numbers involved in the war that we're in. This is truly a war. So many people are dying, are going to die. They're killing the elderly. It's just a fact. We're in a horrible time. There's something really important in doing this telethon, and I'm not sure if it was Adam Ringham, someone who I was talking to really gave me like an epiphany. Like, this is, Gerard, Jesse, it may be one of the biggest time in world history, what we're in right now. This may be the biggest time in world history. And this telethon is, I want to memorialize that we were the fighters, and that we have to maintain, this is history in the making. And I want this to live on forever, so we don't forget these moments and the people that fought and that one day we're going to look back and we're going to know we were on the right side of history. This telethon is like a documentary of the time, the most intense time in world history. We are documenting it.
I was going to hit Christine's comment here, is that I intentfully, after I saw what was going on, I didn't post any pictures in masks. And I'm actually going to go back and delete every single picture I have with a bandana or mask on. And the reason why is because we are in a paradigm shift, and this moment will be remembered in history for a very long time. And if any of my line makes it, my kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, whatever, I don't want them looking back at me as a Nazi. I don't want them to look back at me and see me in the Nazi uniform, right? Which is what it is, because of what Christine said. They murdered millions of people around this world in this false flag. False flag doesn't mean people don't die. It means they're using it for something else, right? Every war we've been in, we've been tricked into it on a false flag. We are at war. And this is a false flag. And they did kill millions of people. And they're going to kill millions more.
It's going to be genocide, for sure.
Right. And to me, they're going to lose. They're not going to win. I'm not sure I'll be here. If my view count goes up, I definitely won't be here. They'll take me out. But if I'm still here, I don't ever want to, have my great grandkids sitting on my lap like, Grandpa, were you a Nazi? No, I was not on that side. I understood. I saw the Hitlers coming. I saw them coming. Once I finally realized where I need to be, I was on the right side. You will not find any pictures of me in a uniform or posting about we need to lock down to save grandma from the people who are murdering elderly in homes. And like she said in the beginning of this, I keep forgetting her name, Kim Iverson, is that this idea that my parents are going to die and I can't go see them in the hospital.
Unbelievable.
I can promise you this. I can promise you one thing. I'm not telling anybody what to do. You do what you want to do. If my parent is dying in a hospital and this is their last day on earth, the last moment on earth, somebody I've known for 60, 70 damn years, 80 years, and you tell me I can't go see it's going to be 2 dead people today. It's going to be 2 dead people today, because you are going to have to murder me and shove me in a hole, because you ain't going to stop me. This is what I'm saying. We have to stop playing, because people don't really realize what they're messing with. Like, if you think the emotions and the passion amongst activists is high, think about what we're doing to people who can't see their loved ones dying in a bed in the hospital. Like, when things happen and you only get the end of the news and you don't know the precursor as to what built up to it. Like, you're in a civil war, you can't figure out how the hell did we get here. Oh, it takes a long time to get people to a point where they're so sick and tired of your ignorance, of you dictating to them how they got to live. They will respond. When I was an activist back during children's rights movement, I used to remember watching the, everybody's heard about a parent who burned down a house and killed everybody in it and killed the kids and everybody's like, oh, that person was just crazy. Oh my God, the mom was crazy. She burned down the house and her and the kids and whatever. If you ever go back and look at the pre-story, almost 90% of the time, the person was not crazy. It was a normal mother or father, lost their child in the family court system or child protection or what all this child trafficking crap that they do.
Yeah.
And that person slowly tried. They went to their court. They got a lawyer. They tried to see their kids. They tried to do this. They tried to save their kids. They knew that the other person was abusing them. They know they were being abused in foster care, whatever. And finally, they cracked.
Right.
And so where we are is we are in a war.
Yes.
And we're in a war with a 0.01% and a lot of privileged and supremacist, ignorant people who can lock down and they can wear masks. And they don't have businesses that are being destroyed so Walmart and Target and McDonald's can just make billions of more dollars. And those people, when they finally have had enough, you're not going to ever put that genie back in the box. And that's what I'm saying, that we need to be very careful what we're doing right now, because just because you're privileged sitting on the high hog and you're essential, things are okay for you, it doesn't take a whole lot. For like World War I, that was one guy, right? World War I started because one guy was assassinated in Italy. If I remember right, it was World War I. And so it doesn't take a lot to spark that when people are really pissed off. And right now in this country, people are at their wits' ends.
Yeah.
And after the genie is out the box, you might live in a suburban neighborhood, you'll never put it back in. And she said, well, you know, and I mean, me personally, I don't think there'll be a sustainable civil war in America. Why? Because the American government has weapons that will murder and eviscerate every single one of us by flipping a switch.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the real threat. The real threat is nobody, no other country, no terrorist, no one who we've killed. We've murdered 5 million people since 9/11 around this world. None of them are going to sit back and just watch. None of, well, they are, because they all in the grave, but none of their family are going to sit back and watch. When America is on their knees because we're too ignorant doing what she said. If y'all didn't watch the beginning, go back and watch the beginning, playing, you know, oh, everything is Jose's fault or Bob in Michigan's fault because he won't wear a mask. You keep playing that game in America. When you get into some sort of martial law or civil unrest, Russia will be here, China will be here, the UN will be here, damn it, Mexico will come here, and they'll all be within their rights of coming back to take what we've stolen from all of their countries. It'll be the end of America. Yeah. We are at war. That's my point. I'm sorry. That was like a 30-minute soliloquy, but we are at war. This has nothing to do with
people are just not, they're just the cognitive dissonance to face the fact that it's here and it's not new either. So I lie awake at night. I wake up in the middle of the night and I cry so many times. You know, I've lost people, very close people who don't like what I'm doing. So you know, I've gone through a lot, like so many of us. But I think about when, you know, World War II, when people were trying to sound the alarm. What this is like, you know, what, you know, I wish I could touch a spirit of someone trying to do what we're trying to do, to just sound the alarm, you know, and people just wouldn't listen. And, you know, that's what I wonder, what other people who were in other Holocausts and past genocides, and they saw it all, and people just wouldn't listen to them. And I wake up in the middle of the night and I think about these things and I cry myself back to sleep. And then you just keep, you know, doing what we're doing, which is why this is so important. And I can't, as in the words of Fleur Braun, if anyone doesn't listen to Fleur Braun on YouTube, can't stop, won't stop. Those are my words.
And with everything that's going on and all the people that are, you know, speaking out, the truthers, I support everybody. It's all of us against this tiny group of people. So people are out here, they say, oh, we're truthers and this, but they're hammering other people that are out here, you know, just trying to share what they believe is the truth. And that's hence one of the reasons why we keep enslaved, is because people keep attacking each other instead of focusing all of that energy on the small group of people that keeps us enslaved.
Yeah. We are the ignorant, naive, tribal generation the 1% have always been waiting for. We are the most ignorant, silly, stupid people who have ever existed on this planet, because we're so privileged and we can press buttons and lights come on and we can turn switches and water comes out, and we're lazy, we're fat, we're stupid, and they've been waiting for us for a long time. We don't even know what food is. But you know what the thing is, I'll say, Lori, don't cry yourself to sleep, because we are in the most amazing time on this planet. We are literally, I mean, just ask yourself for one moment, why would massive corporations and oligarch non-governments pull a scam against the entire world's population? What would make them risk this? What would make them risk, you know, being discovered? Because they're being discovered. You know, their narrative is falling everywhere. My God, the guy yesterday, what was his name? Ian Davis in the UK. Oh, I love this man. He put together the website and showed he took the fragments that they're using for the test to see if they existed, the genes existed before. You know, is this something new? Or, you know, did China get the right fragments? You know, the ones they're scaring everybody with, all the cases and everything. And he put them in the the FLASH database, the World International Genomic Database, and came back with 2 hits, a 90% hit for the human genome and 100% hit for microbes. And so they're not even testing for a virus, right? And so we are in the grip. Their narrative is collapsing and falling. Doctors are standing up everywhere. Nurses and medical professionals say, no, I'm not getting that damn vax. Hell no, I'm not. It takes 5 years to make sure that it's mostly safe. No way in hell I'm taking something that y'all made in less than 5 months. And so even the doctors are standing up against Rockefeller medicine and allopathic criminal disease management. So we live in the greatest time. To me, it is an honor and a privilege to be one that might be selected to make a slight difference, if not just be murdered and put in a grave for the next generation. How does that saying go?
Amen.
There is no greater honor, there's no greater love than for, you know, someone who will lay down their life for their brother. There's not a person on this live stream I wouldn't lay down my life for. My goal is to do anything I can for the next generation. And if it takes breaking a 10,000 year cycle of slavery and colonization, and every group has had slaves and every group made slaves, and now we're all being enslaved by this 0.1%. And if I get a chance to lay down my life to put these people in their box, or send that dark energy, whatever they are, off of this planet, that's the greatest honor I could ever do. I mean, I've done a lot of things in corporate America. All of those things were evil. All of those things were dark. I've made a lot of money in my life. All of those things were evil and dark. I've bought cars and I've done all kinds of things. All of that was evil and dark in comparison to what we get to do. So don't cry yourself to sleep. If anything, it's a celebration. It is a celebration that they were stupid enough and scared enough that they would pull this in a time where we have an internet, social media, and enough people who are street smart who can see through this bull. This is not a time for crying. This is a time for celebrating, because when that pendulum is done swinging on oligarch pretend government power, you know, when that pendulum gets that crest of 0.01% power and greed poisoning people and pretending the flu is killing people when it's all your sugar and glyphosate and cardiovascular disease and statin drugs. And when people find out, that pendulum is going to swing back hard as hell. And when the further they push it, the more it's going to swing back. And you're going to see human freedom. You're going to see human sovereignty. You're going to see small governments. You won't even see governments with rocks, let alone militaries. Great things about to happen.
And you are laying down your life just like all of us are, because when you're coming out and speaking against the system like we all are, and, you know, teaching people to, you know, kind of like come together and, you know, about what's going on, all of our lives are online. Because like you said, once you get that certain amount of following, once you get that certain amount of people, they come in there with their briefcases and say, this is the way it is. Otherwise, you know, your life is in jeopardy, or they just take you out. So we are all, you know, putting our lives on the line because we know that this is the greater good. And this is why we do what we do, is because we do care. And, you know, with the whole dumbing down of what's going on, me and my girlfriend Angeline were just talking about this yesterday, about how they took fat out of the diet and replaced it with sugar. They said fat, and what fat does is the brain needs fat in order to function. So they've dumbed down people by taking fat out of the diet and replacing it with sugar. So they really care about your health when they're actually poisoning you and taking out your brain food. So that's just one thing we had this conversation about yesterday.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I got to get on that. That is so delicious, Jesse. I got to bite into that. So could you connect it
while you saying that? One bite out of it.
Well, no. So you connected something from the cholesterol myth that I never have, right? So if y'all haven't read the cholesterol myth and you're pretending like you're saving grandmama, wearing a mask and hiding in your house, grow the hell up, read the cholesterol myth. Jesse, what you just explained was another reason why they blame fat on cardiovascular disease and not sugar. Right, that's the two dispositions of the doctors who wrote the book, The Cholesterol Myth, and they couldn't figure out. Well, wait a minute, you know, when we started looking at cholesterol, the clotting and the cholesterol, we were trying to figure out where it was coming from, and so we guessed it. They guessed it was animal fat, and so they started attacking the meat industry. Everybody stop eating the fat, and we know that fat is necessary, like you said, for a healthy brain and brain function. And you can get that fat from multiple sources, you know, vegetables as well as from animal fat, but they attacked it. And the research, the way they put it, the research came back for sugar later. And this was after the statin drugs were already made. They started ramping up to billions in profit and projections on keeping people not fixing their cholesterol, but eating the things that was causing it. They realized that it was the sugar that caused the cholesterol clotting. It was an inflammation response from your white blood cells attacking the sugar. And nothing happened. They didn't tell anyone. Why? Because they were making big money on the statins. They got animal fat where they got that fat out of people's diets, affecting their brains, and everybody just kept eating them jelly donuts and Twinkies and ho-hos. And so in all the different ways, this is how the truth saves lives. And this is what, you know, this is why I appreciate that the product that you selected is a detox product, because that's saving lives.
Yeah.
You know, wearing a mask and locking down, you're not saving nobody's life. You are helping the 0.01% give everybody a forced adult vaccination schedule, which is what this was all about from the beginning for them anyway. This isn't about giving you a vax so you can be safe and be cured. If the two fragments that they say weren't even from the virus and you get the vaccine, it's not going to protect you. It's going to send you outside with a false sense of security, and then you'll die. And then there'll be more lockdowns and there'll be more shutting down. What they've always wanted is everyone to be on the adult forced vax schedule. They already have whatever age you are, they have a set of vaxes that they already want to give you. And once you give them the first one for this nonsense, you will be taking multiple shots throughout your life. And we will have the greatest health crisis that we've ever had. And this is why Del Bigtree Well, one, this is why Del Bigtree and the High Wire is no longer on Facebook or YouTube anywhere. You got to go to his website. He is on today. Today's Thursday, right?
Yes.
Right. Everybody, you need to go to the High Wire. Somebody post the URL of it, and you need to watch his videos. If you're not understanding what Jesse is saying right here, and you still think that there's something out there that can kill you, that you changing your diet won't save you and your parents and your grandparents and your brother and sister struggling with cardiovascular disease, you need to watch this man. This is a man who puts on, he's WikiLeaks for scientists and medical professionals who are speaking up against Rockefeller allopathic crony medicine. Everybody needs to be sharing his videos. And the other thing is about back to the whole money thing, which is why I say, no, you need to do this for money. You're doing the right thing and you need money to live to keep doing it. The only reason Del Bigtree is still around, the High Wire, is because he made money doing it. He lucked up and he was on the show The Doctors when he started doing this. And so he was able to take that powerful platform he has in saving lives against big tech companies that have decided they want to align with those taking lives, and created his own website. And he's got a production team. They've got a studio. It's real low budget. He's not making millions. It's still low budget. But then what do you do with that money, people? Anyone who's got a problem with the Truth Telethon or me or anybody trying to help pay the bills while we do this, he sued the CDC, right? And now the CDC he sued them twice this year. They can no longer put on their website that their vaxes don't cause autism because they never proved that. And that is the beginning stages of people getting the truth. So anyway, I did another 30-minute rant.
Well, when you were a kid, you were told not to drink bleach. Why?
I don't know why. Is that bad? Is that I shouldn't put bleach in my coffee?
No, because it's gonna kill you. But yet they bleach our sugar, they bleach our rice, they bleach our wheat. And do you know why? Do you know what the justification is why they do that?
Why?
Because it looks better white. That is the whole reason why bleach was introduced into the food, supposedly into the food system, because it's a more marketable product if it's white. So they justify putting poison into food, bleaching food, because it looks better. And that's where kind of the whole kind of poison was introduced into the food, was because of this bleach, washing it with bleach. Like, that's one of the big things where sugar and all these things are taking the body down a path that it doesn't want to be. I'm not sure if you've read the book The Wheat Belly, but once they modified the wheat, the body started to not recognize what wheat is, so it automatically stores it into fat. So now you've got these bleached, modified products in your body that the body doesn't want to process, so it gets stored into these fat cells, and that's why we have this obese epidemic. That's why everybody has such a hard time, having with extra weight, is because of all the poisons that are introduced into our food system.
And then they come up with the term gluten intolerant. So then they create a new disease around, again, here we go. Create the problem and then bring the solution. So now everyone's gluten intolerant. So they have all these drugs for gluten intolerance. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I'm so glad you said that, because I didn't think about that either. Gluten intolerance. You know what that's like saying? That's like saying you're bleach intolerant. You have a
so people are gluten intolerant, So they come up with a word that makes it seem like.
Well, all right, let me put the pieces together for people who don't understand. Most of the people here understand, but there's always new people. What Jesse explained to you is, there's a great book called Wheat Belly, if you read it. But anyway, they kind of explain how they bred wheat, which is our food, with grass, which was not our food. But they bred them together because the grass grows taller. They wanted the wheat to grow more to improve production. And so when they did that, instead of having wheat that was 2 foot, they had wheat that was almost 6 feet. And so that's what they grow. right? They can get more for production. The problem is that grass, which we've never eaten through evolution, has what's a gliadin protein in it, right? That gliadin protein is where gluten, the word gluten, comes from. We won't go through the details of what gluten does to you, but it's not your food, it's poison. And so we're literally eating poison. And so now they're telling people that, oh, you're gluten intolerant, which is basically saying you're bleach intolerant, you're glyphosate intolerant, you are sugar intolerant, and you're not. This is just poison. But they tell these people these things to sell them the statin drugs and try to convince them that, oh, well, you know, you're just eating too much, and you're not eating too much. Like I hate the word fat, because the word fat, I don't think even exists. There are no fat people. You have abused people. You have people whose thyroid is destroyed by the gluten and the glyphosate, and so their body can't regulate, and so they put on extra pounds. That's not fat. That's somebody who's being abused by industries that lobby the government.
Don't forget in the meat, and like, I no longer eat meat, but they put weight gainers into meat. So you're actually eating, you know, products that are going to make you gain weight when you're eating that meat. So I'm not sure if you know about how much pharmaceuticals are sold in the entire world. 90% of all pharmaceuticals sold go to animals. So just imagine how many pill poppers you know that are on daily doses of pig pharma medicine, and just imagine how many of those happen. That's only 10% of all pharmaceuticals sold. The other 90% get injected into animals. So when you're eating that steak, you know, what are you actually eating? You're eating, you know, antibiotics, hormones, weight gainers, steroids. They put everything, and they even, one of the pig pharma companies owned a chicken manufacturing plant. They got caught putting arsenic into the chicken. Why would a pharmaceutical company want people to be eating arsenic? Well, they gets them a little sicker, means they're going to have to buy a few more of their pills. So this is the stuff that's happening, and as sad as it is to say that we have to watch where we spend our money, how we spend our money, because we actually do have power. It's called purchasing power. And where we spend our dollars is what thrives in industry. If we stop feeding these industries that are poisoning people, they can't be sustainable and they die out.
Yes. Oh my goodness. There's so much in there.
So
A couple things.
now where do we go?
If you take a diseased animal that literally dies unless you give it all kind of antibiotics and to keep it alive because you're feeding it such unhealthy that food that's not even its food, it's junk food. You're eating the sickest possible animal who was fed the worst grown carcinogen drenched crops they could do on the lowest end of the spectrum, and you eat meat from that animal, you're gonna die. All right, that's number one. And so the thing, and this is where I stop with the whole meat thing, because meat is dangerous, but we don't really know if that applies to hunters' meat, right? There are people I know who hunt or are very healthy people, but there are people who can meat in the grocery store, and there's a delineation that's got to be made. I'm a vegetarian. Yeah, I'm a vegetarian, but I don't tell other people, hey, you got to be a vegetarian to be healthy or something, because I don't know. We don't even know what real meat is unless it comes from the wild. That's number one. Number two, I wanted to clarify with the sister here, Olivia, I think it is, who said bread is not poison. And I agree. Bread is not poison. And you are supposed to eat your daily bread, but don't ever eat daily bread that somebody puts arsenic in. If you put arsenic in bread, it's going to kill you, right? And so what we're explaining is that the bread that they ate in those ancient biblical times, you know, your daily bread, that's not the wheat we eat today.
No,
that's not what you're eating today. That's what they ate back then. Today, we are eating franken wheat. We are eating literally grass, and your body can't process it. It is 100% poison. There are some people's bodies who can tolerate the poison better, but most people's bodies can't. Everybody's body has an issue with the current frankenwheat. Everybody's body. And besides the fact they use glyphosate pretty much in the farming of almost all crops. I got a farmer friend, and he tells me that, well, they don't just use glyphosate on the crops that that is designed for. They use glyphosate on almost all crops because there's something about using the glyphosate in the end before harvesting that allows it to be harvested easier. And so they're just constantly drenching their fields with carcinogens, you know, before and after harvest, because it's almost free. The government literally, and this was boggles my mind about people who think the government is here to help and save grandma. Since this thing has begun, they subsidize your food being poisoned with known carcinogens in which the companies have been sued for billions of dollars because they cause cancer. And throughout the whole thing, when they're telling you, we care about you, we love your grandma, we're going to keep you safe, we're worried you might get the sniffles, but they've been subsidized putting what causes cancer in all of your food, which means it's in all the aquifers. The last study I read, it showed that all kids studied are pissing out the 11 popular pesticides that are being sprayed on all the fields that end up in all the water. And they're pretending like, oh, well, the problem is you. The problem is the poor people. The problem is Bob in Michigan. He won't wear his mask. He wants to open his business. The problem is the problem is you don't have a government. You have an oligarchy. They're always doing what brings profit, and they're not there to help you ever.
And death. You left out death.
Well, they only want some of us to die. They don't want everybody to die. Like Big Pharma, they're not trying to kill you. Big Bear, Monsanto, they're not trying to kill you. They're just okay with you being sickly and almost dead, but still buying their product. But they're okay with millions of dying because they killed millions with these lockdowns.
But I disagree. I think they're at the point of time where they have enough technology that they're looking at people as, as human waste, like, because we actually they have the technology with AI, they have the technology with robots that humans are becoming indispensable. So they're actually looking to kill off a majority of the population because we're wasteless resource. What was it that we're resource users? We're using up too many of the resources, but I think that we have here enough for everybody's need. We just don't have enough for everybody's greed. And that's the problem where we run into we're not sustainable, is because you got the greedy that are hoarding everything and making it tough for everybody else. We're not living in a balanced, sustainable society, and that's what we're all fighting for.
I was gonna let you jump in, Lori, because once you get me, I've got something to say.
No. I'm just I don't. I actually don't.
All right, so
say right this second. I can't. It's a shock.
Okay, well, there's never no shot because I always got something. You give me air, like breathing space in the conversation, I'm jumping in. That's just so. And this is what I tell people, Jesse, and you're right about that. You and I definitely don't disagree. You're right about that. See, I used to do videos before all this nonsense started, because I'm an IT person, right? I worked with learning software, I worked with automation, and I realized at a certain point in time, they actually don't need us.
They
literally don't need us. We have the automation to feed everybody. We have the automation to grow food for everybody, build houses for everybody. We literally have the automation to send, at this moment in time, without any extra help, 60 to 70% of the people home to go live their lives and be humans again. We literally have that technology right now. Now, of course, you got to get rid of the financial system, which getting rid of the other industries allows us to do that. We can send 60 to 70% of the people home right now, and they don't want that. So I think it's kind of looking at it from the reverse spin, where they have the automation where they can let a lot of us die, and they'll have more for themselves if they get millions of us to die. That whole Georgia Guidestone type thing. But I look at it from the other perspective, that we're waking up and realizing that we don't actually have to be slaves. And they don't want people to realize that all the economies are fake, all the jobs and careers, it's all slavery, and they don't need us to do it anymore. There isn't a job that people do right now. I don't like it when I say it. It's not a job that you do right now that automation doesn't do any better. The paradigm shift in the IT industry was when we made motors, actuator motors and step motors that could perform the job of human muscle. And then the last piece was learning software. So now you could train a muscle to lift more, faster, not stop in the rain, and learn to do any movement that you do. The only thing that robots and software can't do is love. Not yet. They're probably working on it. I've been out of the industry in a while.
There's a lot of women that don't love.
What's that?
There's a lot of humans that don't know how to love either.
Right. And this is the beautiful thing about where we are. We are in a paradigm shift. We're either going to decide that and it's not a panacea world, people. It's not, oh, you're a utopian. No, it's not. We got problems, man. We got real problems. The aliens, man. Israel's telling us about the aliens too. I'm like, oh my God, we in big trouble. It's one thing if like American whistleblowers are like, free energy and UFOs and aliens. And now people in Israel are trying to tell, and Canada already told us. Russia told me
yesterday. Nothing.
Huh?
She knows nothing about. She's completely, The only thing she knows now is that Israel said that there's aliens. This is what comes out.
Like we don't need any artificial problems, people. We got enough. There's no utopia coming. We are in a big ecosystem. And there's always asteroids on the way. There's always some floods and some molds going to come out the ocean and destroy the crops. We'll always have problems, but we no longer need artificial fake problems given to us by the 0.01%. And so, and that's kind of my point, is that we are in a great time. The children might look back at us and say, oh my God, our parents figured it out. Our parents realized that we got to live free. And we are the first generation of sovereign human beings on this planet in 10,000 years. We wake up and I make music for a living and I suck at it, but it doesn't really matter because I love doing it. And mom and dad and grandma and grandpa and aunt and uncle, they were wise enough to see it and they did that for us. They're either going to look back at us like that, or they're going to look back at us like, why was grandma and grandpa in a Nazi uniform wearing a mask talking about lockdowns that ended up in us being forced, experimented on in a digital slave plantation controlled by digital currencies when they could have freed us? Why was Uncle Jesse a Nazi? Why was Aunt Lori a Nazi? And so we are in a great time. The thing, we just got to make it happen. And it begins with education. People need to realize you're not needed anymore. You are expendable. So you're either going to be dropped off the end of the planet, you're going to be dropped into a grave, or you're going to evolve into a new society where human beings are born and they're not given debt at birth, where they have to serve a 0.01% to pay back debts that they never spent.
There's more homes that are empty than homeless people. In the entire earth, there's more vacant homes than there are people that need a home. And in a system like that, that's a problem because we're only as strong as our weakest link. And it's really important that we take care of the people that are the voiceless, the people that can't, speak up for themselves. And that's hence why we do what we do. Because we need to one, we need to teach people what's going on, and two, we need to do something about it.
Yeah. Well, they want those people to rob us. They want those people to scare us. The reason why you have ghettos, barrios, and people in the Appalachian Mountains and trailer parks is because they're starving those people to scare us. The only reason that the middle class go along with the upper class and the upper class go along with the 0.01% to keeping everybody slaves in this Ponzi pyramid scheme is because the people beneath you scare you. And that's called artificial scarcity, right? They artificially don't print enough money so people die at the bottom. They literally burn crops in the field to make sure people die at the bottom. And so they become survivors, criminals, people who will rob you to feed their children. The evil people. So we need more prisons and more police and laws. They literally abuse the people underneath to keep that going. And it's artificial scarcity, right? And it's what you said, Jesse. Same thing with the houses. It applies as well. How is it that they have enough houses for everyone, but they don't let people live houses? We're okay with children living in caves under New York City, old subway tunnels. We're okay. Every city in the United States of a corporate colonized United States Incorporated has people living in effing tunnels, sewers. And we're okay. And we're sitting in our house with masks on, thinking that the government that does that gives two damns about grandma. I get upset. I have to breathe. They just sometimes you get Gerard, just breathe. I'm gonna breathe. A government that lets single mothers with children live in effing sewer tunnels doesn't give a fuck about you or your children. They don't care about your grandmother. They don't care about you. We need to grow up and stop playing this. I'm sorry. I really apologize. I don't like to cuss. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that people live like Morlocks in caves under the grand Roman capital of city governments. I didn't know children lived under those damn buildings. All right, I'm done. I'm not gonna say nothing else. I'm getting upset.
Do you remember Sylvester Stallone and that movie where they had the society where if you swore you got a ticket, and then there was the people that were living underground? That's kind of the system that's coming in today's society.
That's where we are. That's where we are. And you're either in support of that or you're not. There is no middle ground. You are either backing up this idea, you're backing up this system, or you're not. I forgot the name of the movie. I know exactly what is it called. It's not Minority Report. It's
wasn't Judge Dredd, no?
No. I know what you're talking about. If you and that's the world they want right now, right? This is what all this cancel culture is, right? This is what all this politically correct bullshizzle is. That's what all this is. They're trying to make a digital society with social credit scoring, where if you do things that the 1% don't like, you lose all your money, or you get fined, or you can't drive a car, or you can't go to a certain part of the city. And that's what they're doing in China right now in Beijing with social credit scores. Do you really want that in Britain? Do you really want that in America? Do you really want that in Canada? Well, if you do, keep wearing your mask and lock down. That's exactly what you're going to get. Those of you who they let live.
And
right?
that's a good point, because now I wanted to say something about, the police and the army who are protecting this system. When the masses are exterminated, do you really think that they're going to keep you around? Why do they need you after? They just need you as long as you can keep the slaves at bay from coming and murdering the rich. And why doesn't that happen? Because people are good. People are, humanity. They don't want to go out and want to be, killing and murdering. It's just these small group of people that have twisted things and made people believe that they think that they need to murder other people to protect themselves. And any person who thinks that they deserve to eat and someone else doesn't is not living, a true human existence, because we are all equally sovereign, and we are all equally have the right to food, to clean water, to shelter, and the ability to speak out against tyranny, to be able to speak out when things aren't, how they're supposed to be. We need to be able to voice that opinion, and anyone that's trying to silence that in any way is a part of the problem.
And we have a right in the Black Plague to go out and work and feed our children because they need food. I'm glad that you said it that way, because no one locked down in the Black Plague, right? If you could sit at home because you're privileged and you got a big refrigerator, freezer, and food, or you can work from home, I'm happy that you are. Good for you. That's wonderful and awesome. Don't be an asshole that agrees and goes along with the shutdown when you got people starving right now. And I know that I'm getting a little animated, and I don't like to be. I don't like to get upset. When I think about children starving, it makes me want to choke somebody. And this is the emotions that I try to tell people that, you know, I don't like to do this, and I have to laugh a lot. Because if I don't laugh a lot, I get angry. And no, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. And this is what I literally do this to protect the world from people like me. People who are parents, people who are capable of anything if you hurt the wrong people. We don't need that to come out. We need to evolve as a species away from people who have the ability to bring great violence to bear to protect people who need protection. We have people in the inner city right now who are starving. We have people in rural areas who are starving. The food systems are being shut down. If you are still listening and clapping to these a-holes in government, you wait till they come knocking on your door, because they're coming. Nobody sits around and watches their children starve. And this is what the government wants. Well, it's not the government, because they're agnostic to this. They're not even a part of this, right? They're just slaves being slapped on the back of their head, told what to do. They're an oligarchy. Right? There are no politicians out of the problems. And that's why I don't get into this whole Trump, Biden, all this nonsense and ignorance that people talk about. Government they follow the system. The system is the problem. The system is owned internationally by trillionaire families and multi-billion-dollar corporations. They dictate what the system does. The politicians get slapped in the back of the head and go along with it, like that guy in California, Newsom. He's out partying, doing his thing, but he's creating laws that he won't even follow himself. Why? Because he's being told what to do. And this is the great thing about being in the apocalypse, a great awakening, is now we're really starting to see the cracks in the system. We're really starting to see that they are literally abusing people to make them come rob you, kill you, and steal your being. Those people aren't on your side. You're not safe at home, and you're never going to be safe. You know why? Because police got to protect their own families. When you have a national collapse of the food system, America will never recover from that. We have to stop this now, people. This has to come to an abrupt end now, because after that cannon gets lit, after that genie's out of the bottle, you never put it back in.
You guys, I have to go. I have a million, but I want Jesse to finish up with you, Gerard. I love you. I appreciate you. I just have so many things to do today for tomorrow. So I'm going to love you and leave you. And Jesse, will you just finish up the discussion?
Yes, of course. Thanks very much, Lori, for coming hanging out with us.
We're so grateful to have you tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
I thank you so much for having us today and shedding light on all these issues and talking about the Truth Telethon, and look forward to everyone in your audience joining us tomorrow.
I know they'll be there. These people give a damn. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll be in touch.
All right.
I'll see you guys later.
All right. We're not going to go much longer, but yeah, and people are posting, they're playing with the feed and the comments and stuff like that. And to me, people, that's how you know that you're watching the right thing. That's how you know you're sharing the right thing. That's how I know that Jesse and I and Lori are saying what needs to be said, because you're being shadow banned. When you're being shadow banned, that's where you need to be. When you're speaking out against those who actually are the problem, the oppressors, they come from you. The system will respond if you are doing or saying something that threatens the system. If you're not doing or saying anything that threatens, like go out and watch some kitty videos right now. I've never, Jesse, have you ever seen like the kitten and the bunny videos? Have you ever been shadow banned?
Well, I've been at this truth thing for about 30 years now. And so it's been a long and at times really lonely road. You know, a lot of people, cause that's crazy Jesse, him and his cult following. And, you know, there's just things that, you know, I've had to go through for the last 30 years, you know, to bring truth to people. For a long time, I kind of masked what I knew in drugs and alcohol, just thinking that if I was just part of everybody else, that I would not think about what's going on and not remember those, you know, those videos that I seen as a kid where you see the Ethiopians with their rib cages hanging out, and you know, they're starving because they have no food to play on people's heartstrings. That stuff is burned in my head. That to me was the whole thing. I couldn't understand how we could just throw away our extra food here, where there's people on the other side of the earth that have their rib cages exposed because they don't have any food. And you know, that's kind of what got me all going. And I got my account deleted like just before the very first Truth Telethon. About a week before, they deleted my account. I'm quite intelligent, so I don't post things that I know are offside that are going to get me in trouble. So I've never been on a Facebook jail. I've never had a post flagged, but I do speak truth, and I do get people to know what's going on, but I do it in my own way where I haven't been in trouble for it. I have gotten some group restrictions from posting in too many groups, for sharing in too many groups. That's the only kind of Facebook jail that I've ever had. While I've been doing the High Vibe Love Tribe, where we get together every single day to increase people's vibration, I've been playing some copywritten music, which I've got in trouble for. All of a sudden, they just deleted my account, like probably not even a week before the first Truth Telethon. So I opened up another one, the exact same name. 3 days later, they deleted that one. They deactivated that account. So this account that I'm currently on is my third Facebook account. And then they ended up giving me back my second one, which I just have dormant right now in case they mess with this third one. But I get very shadow banned. You know, I get, my stuff doesn't get put out there. And again, a lot of people that come to the feeds get kicked out. A lot of people, they're doing a lot of things to hinder. They're doing a lot of things subtly to turn people off of people like you and me, because they don't want people to be, you know, passionate. They don't want people supporting. They don't want people sharing, because we are the light that is exposing the darkness. And, you know, anytime that, you know, we are against this system, of course, there's going to be pushback, because you know, they have to protect their system by secrecy.
Yeah. Awesome. Look, Jesse, I'm going to have to go. So I just wanted to give you a last word. I was going to reply to someone, Olivia. Yes, we got to stop talking and not doing, but we need more talking and more doing. The only way we get out of this without violence is by waking up the masses. We need to talk a lot more, as well as do things. Figure out what you can do to build community in your area, and you make it through the coming relatively dark times, but you have to talk more. So you got to definitely talk more, be defiant, and but I got to get going. So last word, Jesse?
Just wanted to share, everybody, if you go to thetruthtelethon.com is the website. You enter in your email address. That means you're going to be entered into the draws that we're having during the Truth Telethon tomorrow, if you put your email address in there. And plus, we're also going to share some of these products that we have with you all. We have the Truth Telethon group, private group Facebook page. So if you don't want to enter your email address, that's fine. You just have to go to the Truth Telethon group, private group page. If you're sharing, inviting people to that group, you're also going to be entered into some draws for some things. So you don't have to enter your email address in order to, you know, still be able to win some prizes. Just invite people to the group. And if for some reason that stuff goes down, we also have the Truth Telethon Facebook page, the Truth Telethon, where, you know, I mean, a YouTube channel, which all of our videos are on there. And we're also going to be live streamed on Twitch as well. We do have a promotion going on for the detox product, where it costs $5. That includes shipping for an $80 bottle. So that runs until Sunday. So anyone can try out the product. The company believes in the product so much that they're willing to lose money and be able to put it in everybody's hands for $5. You can't really go wrong for $5. Try it out. You know, even if you just do it for the 1 month, you're going to get 1 month of detox out of your system. So, you know, a lot of people are struggling right now, but I'm sure you can put together $5 if you can buy a pack of smokes, or you can buy your herb, or you can buy your liquor. You know, you can spend $5 on your health. Give it a shot, see how you feel. And if it's something that does help you, then, you know, you can look to, you know, continue on with the product.
Awesome. All right. Well, Jesse, appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining in. We will see you guys next time around.
Break the chains that bind me, 'cause I wanna break the chains that bind you. Do you wanna set the world free, have perfect harmony? Isn't it time for that? Do you wanna free, boom, 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 free the people? Do you wanna free, boom, 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 free the people from the bottom to the top? Make modern slavery stop. Do you wanna let go of the prisoners? See everyone happy. We can have this and more if we open up the doors. Well, what do you think about that? Do you wanna free, boom, boom, free the people? Do you wanna free, boom, boom, free the people and Mother Nature too? Close down all the zoos. Do you wanna boom, 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 boom? Do you wanna boom, 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 boom? Do you wanna free, boom, boom, free the people? Do you wanna free, boom, 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 free the people from the bottom to the top? Make modern slavery stop.